So, Donald Trump's congressional address last night, or it was pretty much a State of the Union address, went over very well with the mainstream public. So much so that CNN's own poll had a 28% pessimistic view of it, and the other one was, what's that, 72% favorable. That was CNN's own poll, which was skewed 33% Republicans, I think 29% Democrats, and 38 or something independents. But that did not stop the regressive left from coming out and denouncing Trump's speech. People like Kathy Giffords, the redhead, said that it was an hour and 9 minutes of hate. So the media, they're always trying to manipulate the audience. They're trying to make them live in a world of duplicity. They're deceiving them. The whole process of the media is to, no matter what Trump does, is to denigrate him, to denigrate his status and demean his policies. Rachel Maddow said that the whole point of the interview, in her opinion, was so Donald Trump could spread hatred towards immigrants, so he could call them criminals, because Donald Trump wants to set up a department called Voice, which focuses primarily, or actually focuses specifically, on victims of illegal immigrant crime. But since Trump is doing that, that's reprehensible. That Trump, he just hates immigrants so much that he wants to do this. And it's truly ironic and sad and pathetic and all of them that no matter what he does, the regressive left, no matter what he does, the regressive left will try to denigrate him. And it's not working. Their viewerships are dilapidating exponentially. They are losing viewerships, they are losing ratings, they're losing all this. The legacy media is dying, and they don't understand this. And instead of actually converting it, transferring back to perhaps a more unbiased approach, they increase their bias, they increase their partisanship, and it's hurting them. They don't understand that. Fox News is becoming the paragon of cable news TV shows, and Fox News used to be just as biased as the other ones. But now the liberal media, the regressive left, is so determined to avert any type of Donald Trump's policies that could cause some kind of subsequent good for the public. They're so determined to prevent that from happening that they are willing to say anything to get a rise from leftist people in general. Because what they fear most is that the independents and those who kind of moderates that kind of lean to the left, they fear that those people will actually start going over to Trump's side, which essentially is what happened in the election. Trump won the blue-collar Democrats, people from Pennsylvania, people from Wisconsin. He almost won Minnesota. So they're fearing that those same people, and actually more of those people, are beginning to converge over to Trump. There's a conference happening with Trump, and they're fearing that. So how can they fix that? They believe they can fix that by denigrating Trump, by trying to embellish every single thing he has said, to try to basically eradicate all types of good that Trump can actually do. No matter what Trump does, will never be good. It will never be good enough. No matter what the polls say, Trump, at this rate, the way things are going, the Democratic Party is in shambles. The Democratic Party is down 1,200 seats since 2010. So 6 years, they're down 1,200 seats. They lost the House, they lost the Senate, they lost 33 governorships, and they lost a shit ton of state legislators. So instead of going in a new direction, instead of finding a new face for the Democratic Party, they re-elect Nancy Pelosi. I don't know if any of you have ever seen her, but she looks mentally ill. She almost looks as mentally ill as Elizabeth Warren. She looked like she was zoning out on benzodiazepines last night, Xanax and Ativan. She literally looked like she was ill. And she was on Morning Joe show the next day, and she said it was a click and bait speech, and Donald Trump was just there to express more of his hatred towards the immigrants. No, Donald Trump is not against immigrants. He's against illegal immigration. Because no matter what they do to try to justify illegal immigration, If one person is harmed, attacked, raped, killed from an illegal immigrant, then it is a failure of the immigration system. Why? Because that immigrant should not have been here to begin with. One person. So I find it extremely odd that the Democratic Party cares more about the welfare of illegal immigrants than the victims of Americans who suffered at the hands of illegal immigrants. Or maybe they just care that it's Donald Trump who's against illegal immigration. But we all remember Hillary. Hillary wanted to give Obamacare to illegal immigrants. So just imagine if she won. That's more tax dollars going to illegal immigrants, to people that have no legal right to be here to begin with. And then they question why nobody wanted to vote for Hillary. Well, because this was a nationalistic and populist movement. The populist movement was for Trump. They were angry. They were irate over politicians, over the regressive left caring more about the rights of aliens as opposed to Americans. Americans are tired of being ignored. I'm shocked I'm not really shocked by it, because the black population, Trump did get more black vote than Romney and McCain. I am shocked, though, because if you look at the black statistics, under Obama, they have gotten worse. Unemployment's gotten worse. More people on welfare, more people on food stamps, more people out of the labor participation force. The statistics are there. GDP growth never reached 3%. To give you an idea, Reagan at one point had 7.5% GDP quarterly growth. Kennedy averaged like 6.3. George Bush was 3.2. Now I have a graph on my computer somewhere. I can't remember all these, but Obama is under George W. and George Regler and Bill Clinton and Reagan and LBJ and Nixon and Kennedy, which is no surprise. But when you hear the progressives talk about, I say progressives instead of regressive left. To me, the regressive left is different than progressives. I can talk about that later. But anyways, when you hear progressives talk about Obama, they portray him as he is the savior of all that is holy, that he brought the economy back, that he brought the dilapidation of American society back from George Bush. And there's no questioning, there's no denying that the recession did stop after Obama got elected. But what they don't tell you is that even John McCain was for a stimulus package. You had to use a stimulus package to get out of the financial ruin that we were in. They don't tell you that. They want to say that it was Obama's genius that made it work, that Obama was able to decipher the pith of the whole issue of why we were in financial dilapidation. And he used that to carve his own policies out that were able to completely revolutionize and bring America back to its great, great, prosperous way. And we all know it's bullshit. Because if you look at statistics, everything is down. And I voted for Obama in 2008. I did. I just turned 18 and I voted for him. I know, it's sad. I regret it now. But to be honest, I don't think I'd be happy with John McCain either. John McCain is a neocon, obsessed with war. We have soldiers in 122 different countries, and he wants more. We don't need more war. That's why I also disagree with Trump increasing the offensive weaponry of our military. $54 billion more he wants to add to it. I don't think we have to do that. We should actually cut military spending. We spend more on military than 21 countries combined. Next 21 countries combined. So instead of spending more on offensive weaponry for the military industrial complex, we can reallocate some of those funds strictly for defensive. Specifically, in my opinion, cyber warfare. Because let's face it, cyber warfare is the next war that's going to happen. It's all about hacking these days. So instead of creating new weapons and spending more money that is going to increase the military industrial complex for these neocons in Congress, let's cut spending and reallocate some of that offensive weaponry spending to defensive spending, primarily with cyber warfare. It would solve so many things, but Trump doesn't want to do that. And the neocons in Congress are essentially kissing his ass and leading him in that direction. That's why McMaster's, Trump's new national security advisor, I am afraid of him because Bill Kristol, Lindsey Graham, George Bush, and John McCain have all said that it's a very good, Jeb Bush, not George, they have all said that's a very good pick. And if neocons like Bill Kristol and John McCain and Lindsey Graham think that McMaster's is a good choice for national security advisor, that gives me some pause. Why? Because John McCain wants to go to war with Russia. He literally said that Russia's alleged cyber attack against the U.S. during the election is an act of war and should be I can't think of that freaking word. It should be taken in kind. Should be treated. Sorry. Should be treated in kind. Essentially saying, let's go to war. Kind of had a momentary lapse of reason there. Just go with it. So, anyways, augmenting the national security budget by $54 billion and counting and taking some of those funds from other departments isn't going to do anything. And I hope Trump realizes that eventually, but I don't think he will. Because Trump, I'm not saying he's a dictator, but he does have a dictatorial personality. He wants peace through strength, kind of like Reagan did. But the difference with Reagan is that we were in a Cold War. We are not in a Cold War now. However, the neocons and neolibs in Congress want a Cold War. It's deep statism. That's all it is. It's the people that have been in the CIA for 20 years, the people who have been in the military-industrial complex for years and years. They want this. They are controlling the strings. Not a conspiracy. I'm not saying like the Bilderberg Group or the New World Order. But people that have influential powers, people that have influential positions in the government are able to manipulate their coworkers, their colleagues, to eventually persuade Trump to become more bellicose with respect to war, to become more dictatorial, to become more aggressive with respect to war. So I fear that the foreign policy, which was the same under George Bush, which was the same under Bill Clinton, which is the same as George W., which was the same under Obama, I fear that that will continue on with Trump, that they are trying to perpetuate that kind of notion that the foreign policy is essential to the American sovereignty, that we are the world police because we know best. So we have to be in 130 countries. We have to be all around the world. We have to be able to respond at an accident or a terrorist attack anywhere in the world within 12 hours as essential because we are the leader of the free world. And that's just propaganda. That's propaganda. All it is about globalism. They want control. They want oil. They want all that stuff. We don't and we can't afford to be the world police. And I don't understand. I do understand it's all about money, but I don't understand how constituents of the neocons don't tell their senators and congressmen about that. That, hey, we don't want war anymore. We're sick of this. But it doesn't matter anyways. We haven't declared a declaration of war through Congress for years. Nowadays, the president says, you know what, go bomb Libya. You know what, go bomb here, go bomb there. It doesn't matter anymore. The Constitution is being ignored. It's being ignored for the powers that be, the executive privilege the president has by bypassing Congress, bombing places because he thinks he knows best. I'm talking about Obama. I'm talking about Bush. I'm talking about Donald Rumsfeld. All these people that work in the executive area of the government. They are no longer going through Congress to initiate these steps of war. And that is fundamentally flawed. And that is the issue. That is the issue that's happening with American culture as we know it. Culture with respect to government, I should say. But I hope Trump does not get too crazy with war. I hope he does not get too crazy with spending money on offensive weaponry and having more locations of troops worldwide. So we don't need it. Our money, our currency is devaluing every single day. Every single day we have the Fed. Our currency is devaluing. And instead of focusing on world issues on a global scale, we should focus on our national debt and deficit and not necessarily policing the world. And I'm done.